When you think of masculinity, you probably think of a man who should be in control, win at all costs, show no emotions, and look like some sort of high value man. At least that's the American idea of a masculine man. And I would say what most men today teach the younger man to become. Modern masculinity is full of influencers now who've only corrupted the hearts of men, who have taught man that attacking another man's image and calling him names is manly. Men today think that to be masculine is to demand respect, force others under their leadership. In this video, I'm going to prove what most men get wrong, debunk modern masculine claims, and show you how men are actually supposed to be. One of the things that are being taught today is you must be a high value man. Now, a high value man means a man who must make a lot of money. How much money? A lot of money. Let's just put it like that. If you're a mid or average income earner, then you would be considered a loser. Someone who is lazy, a low tier man. They tell you things like men must be emotionless and that empathy is weakness. Modern masculinity tells men that they must put themselves first in order to be leaders, fathers, husbands, that you first have to benefit from something. They have to get something in return. Their demands and their needs are like an absolute must before they do anything in life. Here are the other things that culture tells you what masculinity is. It's being a protector, a provider. Your duties as a masculine man is to have courage, honor, which these are all good things, don't get me wrong, but what does any of those things have to do with being masculine? What does it exactly have to do with being a man? This is the reason why it's pointless debating about masculinity, because this differs from person to person and from culture to culture. Not everyone will agree on what masculinity is. What you see as masculine, I myself might see it not worthy of masculinity. But everything that I just listed really has nothing to do with being masculine. I would much rather have a conversation on the image of man, because that's what matters most, is his image, his character, the way he carries himself, which I'll get into more later. But right now I want to focus on the price we are paying for modern day masculinity. Now, the way that manhood is being taught today, it's causing a lot of problems. It's causing a lot of problems in the homes, in people's marriages. It's even so bad that it's leaked into politics. It has divided men and women more than it's ever have today. It's caused gender wars. Now, everything is about which gender is better at what duties or tasks. You have feminism and male feminism going at it, like red pill bros and conservatism. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just joking. Let's call it maleism. I don't say that as any disrespect on the guys on that side, but that's just the reality of it. I mean, these men, instead of teaching responsibility, they're teaching victimhood. Men now blame women for everything that goes wrong. They blame them for failed marriages, birth rates being low, the family collapsing. They blame not only women, but they blame pretty much everyone else. And that's the problem with modern day masculinity. They don't take no accountability. These modern day men now teach you that there's feminine and masculine duties. So the duties that are men's, that men are supposed to do, is like, of course, things like providing, leading, protecting, working. Now, all that's for men. It's not for women though. Women are not to do these things. They're not to work. They're not to provide. Now, that's the feminine thing to do. When these things get mixed up and you get out of these roles, it just turns into another gender war, confusion. And once again, you're left with people telling you how masculine or unmasculine you are. Let's take a look at the character of man in modern day masculinity, because let's be honest, man's character is not the same as it used to be. Being a man today has become about self-serving, protecting what they think rightfully belongs to them, leaving men at the end of the day more lonelier than they ever been, leaving them confused about what a man and a woman's duties really are. The pride, the self-serving, the loneliness, the anger starts ruling every part of his soul. You know, in order for a man to be a leader, to be a husband or a father, to be in these positions, he first needs to learn to master his character, because all these positions at the end of the day is a reflection of the man you are. You see, men have been taught to do the opposite. They are taught to be a reflection of the world, taught to reflect their enemies. So what does masculinity supposed to look like? Or like I said before, what does the image of man look like? It's not what you have in your bank account. It's not the kind of cars you drive. And it's not sitting around the table smoking cigars and drinking on camera, talking about how masculine you are. That doesn't make you masculine. It's your character. Can you lead and put yourself under the ones that are counting on you and not above them? Can you do the right thing even if it costs you, even if nobody is looking, even if you have to be the one doing it alone? Are you the same man behind closed doors that you are in public? Can your character as a man withstand trials, or does it break? I want to talk about what is masculine. These are the things you should be talking about. These are the conversations we should be having, not on things like how to be an alpha or how to be a high value man. These have nothing to do with the man's character. Things like leadership, providing, protecting, nothing to do with gender roles, but we treat them like they are. That's why you see these men and women fighting about pointless things all the time. Anybody with a rational brain would do these things if it came down to it. That's why when one oversteps gender roles, all hell breaks loose, because we tie all of these things to gender rather than responsibility. And that confuses men, because then they see these as what's expected of them rather than what is required of them. They confuse that, which is leading more men to abandon these positions altogether or step into these positions as selfish men. Like I said before, arguing about masculinity is pointless. It can mean whatever you want it to mean. When it comes to your character, you can't escape accountability. That is hard to hide behind words like masculinity. Now that is a much harder and much uncomfortable conversation to have, because it strips away all of the excuses and shows you for the man you really are. Now, I'm not at all saying to reject masculinity. I think it serves its purpose when it's actually needed. However, it doesn't belong to one group or one culture or one particular set of men. You don't get to strong arm everyone else who disagrees with you. Masculinity has been used as a weapon for a certain group of men who want control. So the point of all this was to show you what it actually means to be a man and what culture actually gets wrong about manhood. There is just a lot of people that try to define masculinity and manhood that get it completely wrong and just use that to control people, to control others, to guilt everyone else who doesn't necessarily agree with them, so that way they can be in control, so they can get their way. If you guys want to support this channel and y'all want clarity, especially in a world full of all this online noise, then like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want my free PDF of Uncommon Leadership, it's a guide on how to be a leader, then I'll leave all that on the description below. Sign up now so you don't miss it when it comes out.